1,000,000 lambs that were brought to be sacrificed. Thousands upon thousands of people were coming into church. You had on somebody that let you down, the greater the pain that you are currently feeling. How you can be so in love with the idea of something, but the same thing you're so in love with, when it doesn't meet your expectations, you begin to despise. Lambs represented times 3 or 4. That represents the amount of people that were there. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people had come to the feast from everywhere. The one name that was circulating amongst morning, what comes to mind for you? If I were to ask you to raise your hand and shout out what comes to mind, don't do that, but I'm sure we would have all kinds of answers. Some of them would be biblical, of Jesus coming in. They were getting on their knees. It's like this huge parade was happening. And here's what was going on. They took these palm branches. You could read all the way back to the Maccabees. The palm branch. He was going to come here and to clean up all the corruption in the government and in their nation. They saw it. They really believe. Like, I know some of you are hoping that her and Travis Kelce don't work out because we're going to hear another awesome album. But there's something to offer. The problem was they made Jesus into their own image. Jesus, and what you think he's supposed to be in your life, and you mold him into this image, and he doesn't meet your expectations, the next thing that will happen is going to be detrimental to your faith. Because then you'll be questioning whether or not he loves you, sees you, or knows you. All because you created an image of Jesus. Most. That's not the way I work. I'm going to come in and stand up for you. So when Jesus was coming in, they saw him as his military leader, and they thought that he would come in with the type of aggression towards their enemies, and he didn't. And can you imagine how frustrated they were? Remember that these things had been written about him and had been done to him. Verse 17 says, the crowd that had been with him when he called Lazarus out of the tomb and raised him from the dead continued to bear witness. Here's what this means. It means that life wasn't the way they wanted it to go. Things weren't looking smooth, but they hung on to the things they knew about who Jesus was. Listen, let me share with you a great biblical principle. Listen, I'm telling you, the more you are surrendered to Christ, probably the less true friends you will have. The more you begin to walk with God, the more you experience opposition around you. Here's what ends up happening. When you begin to make decisions for Jesus, you end up losing friends who don't agree with you biblically, and you have to be okay with that. More people are going to think you might be a little bit weird. The more you follow Jesus, the more Jesus begins to use your life, the more Jesus begins to uplift you, the more you will sense that insecure people around you will talk about you, they won't like you, they can't stand your presence because you're taken away from their kingdom. Here's what's going to end up happening. Your presence alone will be a threat to insecure people around you. It's amazing how this is true, but the most difficult people that I have tried to serve Christ with are other Christians. I've never understood, as long as I've been a Christian, as long as I've been a pastor, I could never understand how we proclaim the blood of Christ, how the God who hung the moon and the stars, and we proclaim him and we sing with him, yet we are so incredibly insecure. These are the same people that will criticize when we don't meet their expectations. So the only one you need to bow to is Christ. You don't need to change your life and you bow down to any other man or woman. The only one you bow down to is Christ. Because here's the great thing. People are going to let you down. People are going to hurt you. By the way, you will let people down.